Okay, folks, so what I've got here is a little LSU tiger, and this branch here, let me zoom out a little bit so you can see better. This branch here is the one that I want to air layer. I don't want it to be this low, and I want the branches that come off of this tree to have a more upright growth habit. And I know that as this gets longer, it'll end up draping out on the ground, and I don't particularly want that. So what am I looking at here then in terms of where I want the actual air layer to occur? So you see there is a node here. There is a node here where this leaf is coming out. You see those dots right there? Roots should come out of that. So you see those three little dots that are kind of right below this leaf. There's 1, 2, 3, and then another 4, 5, 6 or so. They're going kind of in a straight line right here. Roots should come from that. So what I am going to do, I'm going to strip this leaf off, and I'm going to strip that leaf off, and I'm going to girdle right here between these two nodes. Not all the way up to the node, but you know, a little bit below it. And the roots then should start coming out up here. So I can start doing that now. We can pull that off, and we can pull that off. And I've got, if you'll look, even though it's really not wanting to focus right now, see, I've got sap flow in this limb, all right, and that's really important. So here's a better close-up, right? You see these little dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, kind of 6 in a line right there. Roots should come out of that. All right, and look here at the node here where the sap is flowing. You don't see those dots like that, do you? So it would maybe not be as successful to air layer between this node and this node, but I feel better about doing it up here. All right, oh, sorry. I feel better about doing it up here because of these little dots, for lack of a better word. All right, so when I girdle, I'm going to use my knife, and I'm going to cut through the bark carefully, because I don't want to cut all the way through the limb, but I'll make a 360-degree cut all the way around, and then a second 360-degree cut all the way around, and then I'm going to peel the bark off of the wood. That's called girdling. Now, there are some people who say you can do air layers without girdling. You can just scrape the outside of the bark. I've seen videos of people doing it. They've had success. This is how I do it. This is how I was taught to do it. So that's all I'm doing. I'm showing you how I've had success. And so I am, you remember the little dots that I showed you? I'm about 1/4 of an inch below them. And again, I know there's really good sap flow in here because I'm getting that sap coming out nice and strong. I'm going to make a cut up here between the two. So here is where I made the 360-degree cuts. Then I cut a line up between them. And now I'm going to try to gently get one of these corners, there it goes, to lift up off of the wood. And sometimes maybe your cut didn't get all the way through. But see there, right? It's just lifting off. And if it doesn't come right off, it just means you didn't cut quite deep enough. And so just a little bit more gentle pressure. And oops. There it is. All right, so you see what I've done. I've peeled the bark and I have exposed what is referred to, or what's called, the cambium layer. And I want to be sure that there's nothing connecting. I'm going to give it just a gentle little abrasion to kind of scuff it up some. And now it's ready for me to put on the rooting hormone and then the air layer. I'm using Clonex, right? This is a gel. There's powder that can be used. And there are people who don't use anything. And I've left my paintbrush. I don't know where that is. Do not let my wife see this, that I'm using her kitchen knife. And so I'm going to smear some of that on there. And here is a tip. I don't just want it on the part that's been girdled. I want it on the node above the girdle. And by above, I mean furthest away from the trunk. That would be considered above the girdle. This, where the knife is pointing now, this is below the girdle. This is above the girdle. All right? That was maybe a little too much Clonex, but this is the end of the bottle. So I'm gonna get a new bottle for upcoming rooting season. All right. So it's all been smeared on there nice. Okay, get my moss. Wring it out. I want this packed pretty tight. All right. And I'll put this up in front of the camera so you can see it. As it dries out, it will create more room in there. These rooting balls are nice because they will drain. And so if it rains, which we're supposed to get rain again the end of the week, if it rains or something like that, then it's fine. It'll drain, excess water will drain out of there. And so now all I'm going to do is sandwich this in there, close it up, close the little flap on there for right now, and then put a couple zip ties on it, and that's it. We're in business. Oh, I don't have any LSU colors here in my zip ties, sorry, so we'll just go with white. Ideally, I would have skinnier zip ties, but this is all I had. One of the reasons you want to make sure this thing stays on there really pretty tight is because once it does start growing roots, you don't want this ball to move or to twist or to do anything like that. All right, you want it to stay really secure on there. Let me put one more over here. And, you know, at this point, I would say I'm going to give it at least a month before I even think about peeking at it. And we'll go from there. I don't have scissors. I'm going to go get scissors real quick so I can clip this off, and then I can wrap it in the foil. All right, now, little piece of foil. And folks, it's that simple. Come here. Oh, I thought my buddy was gonna sneak up behind me and give me a kiss. Cosmo had to go to the vet today, and he got 4 shots. He hasn't been feeling it the rest of the day. Anyways, it's ready to go. Leave it alone, let it sit. You know, at least 4 weeks before you even peek at it. It may take 6 to 8 weeks. All right, it's fine. I'm in no rush, because once this thing is done, I mean, it's, you know, it's a tree. It's not a, you know, it's not a little cutting that you're starting over from. And I know you can see on here, there's some figs. There's a fig there, there's another one down here, there's another one starting up here. So I know this is going to produce, okay, which is part of the reason why air layering is attractive as a way to propagate additional plants. So real simple. Moss, okay, that's what I use. I got it from Amazon, of course. Where else? All right, that's the brand name there. I have no affiliation. I have no affiliate link or anything at all like that. I'm just showing you everything exactly that I use. So I use that as the medium. The rooting ball, right? Same thing. You can get them from Amazon. They come in different sizes. Some of them are clear, some of them are green, some of them are black, you know, all different colors. Clear ones are good because you can see into it and see the roots. I'm just cheap. This was the cheapest zip ties or something to close it, to keep it secure. Water to soak your moss in, or whatever growing media you're going to use. And then I use rooting hormone. This is gel Clonex. I think most people in the fig world know what this is. This stuff works. All right. And patience. That's it. All right. If you got any other questions or comments or ideas, by all means, please share it in the comments. And pretty simple. Give it a whirl. I promise. Even if you fail, oh well, you'll learn something. I promise. And you'll learn what works, what doesn't work. Maybe you forgot something, or maybe in your area you need to do something a little bit different. So don't be afraid to give it a whirl, especially if it's a limb that you're going to prune off and get rid of anyways, because it's a branch or a limb that you don't want, right? And I don't want this on this particular tree the way I want it to grow. I don't want this limb coming out where it is. And so when I get the roots in there, and I'm confident that I will snip it off right here at the trunk and have another LSU tiger that's rip-roaring and ready to go. All right, so we'll check back and see. This is middle of July, so for sure middle of August, maybe end of August. I'd like to think that I'll have something going here. All right, y'all get out in the garden, even in the heat. It's okay. Sweat a little bit, and just do it in the early morning and the late evening, kind of like this. And have fun. Try stuff. You know, if you screw it up, if you mess it up, who cares? All right, we'll grow more. So, all right, y'all be good. Have a great time. We'll see you.